The Empire of Valoria was known across the galaxy for its beauty and strength. Its cities shone like stars, and its people lived in peace and hope. At the heart of Valoria's greatness was its royal family. The Princess Serenia was the brightest jewel. She was kind, smart, and brave. People loved her like the sun that warmed their lives. But one day, everything changed. Princess Serenia was on a mission to visit distant planets. She traveled in her silver ship, the Starling, with her guards and crew. She was to meet with leaders of other worlds and build new friendships. It was a hopeful journey. Then, silence. The Starling disappeared. Her ship's signal stopped. Messages came. The guards who were with her were found on a small asteroid, unconscious and scared. The Empire's best search ships looked everywhere. But no sign of the princess or her ship was found. King Eldrin, Serenia's father, sat on his throne, pale and quiet. The court whispered fears of death and war. Many believed the princess was lost forever, but the truth was very different. Far away. On a cold, dark moon called Draction, Serenia slowly opened her eyes. The room was small and bare, made of cold metal. Strange machines blinked with soft lights. Around her, aliens with hard faces moved silently. Singing, they spoke in low voices she did not understand. Serenia felt weak but alive. She tried to sit up, but her arms were tied with thick bands that hurt her skin. She looked around. The place was a prison. She was a prisoner. Her mind raced. Why was she here? Who took her? Is this part of a plan against Valoria? Suddenly, the door hissed open. A tall figure stepped inside. He was different from the cold aliens who held her before. His eyes were sharp, his movements quick. He wore a strange uniform with patches she had never seen before. I looked human. Commander Riven Cole, the man said quietly, his voice low but firm. I'm here to help you. Serena stared at him. Humans were rare in this part of space. Many thought Earth was weak and small, but this man did not look weak. How do I know I can trust you? She asked. Riven smiled slightly. You don't, but I'm your best chance. If I don't help, no one will. He moved quickly to the control panel near her cell. His fingers danced over buttons and switches. The metal bands binding Serenia opened with a click. You have to be ready. We don't have much time. Together, they slipped out into the cold hallways. The alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed. The Sindar Consortium, the group that held the moon, was waking up to the escape. Riven led Serenia through narrow corridors and heavy doors. He explained that the Sindar were a group of powerful criminals and politicians who wanted to control many planets. They saw Valoria as a prize. Why kidnap a princess? Serenia asked as they moved. Because you are more than a princess. You are a symbol. Your empire listens to you. If they believe you are dead, they will fall apart. If you return, they will rise. Serenia understood. She had to get back. But first, she had to survive. They reached the docking bay. A small ship waited, ready to launch. Riven had stolen it earlier, hiding it behind crates. Get in, he said. The engines roared to life. The ship lifted off, moving fast through the dark sky. Behind them, the Sindar sent fighters to chase. Bullets and lasers flew past the small ship. Riven's hands moved expertly over the controls. Serenia held tight. Her heart pounded. This was no longer a princess's journey. This was a fight for survival as they sped through space. Serenia watched Riven carefully. He was not like the nobles she knew. He was rough and direct, but his eyes showed deep care. Where are you from? She asked. Earth, he replied. A small blue planet. People there don't have fancy ships or big empires. But we fight hard. Serenia smiled. You sound like my people. Maybe we are not so different, Riven said. Their ship jumped into a hidden tunnel in space, a shortcut used by smugglers and pirates. It was risky, but it saved them from their enemies. During their quiet moments, Serenia thought about Valoria, her father, the king, was weak since she disappeared. The court was full of people who wanted power. If she did not return soon, everything could fall apart. Riven watched her and said, You're stronger than you think, princess. and you don't have to be alone. Serenia nodded, feeling hope for the first time in weeks, but danger was not far behind. The Sindar Consortium sent bounty hunters and spies across the galaxy. Their leaders wanted the princess dead or captured, and there was more to this mystery. Serenia soon learned that not everyone in her empire wanted her back. Some people in her court whispered lies, plotting in shadows. Her disappearance was only the start of a bigger game. The ship flew toward a small outpost where Riven hoped to find help, but when they landed, they found it empty. The outpost was attacked, burned to ashes. "We're running out of time," Riven said, checking his weapons. "They know we're coming." Serenia's voice was steady. "Then we keep moving. Find allies. We fight back." Her mind was clear. She was not a lost princess anymore. She was a leader in exile, with a human warrior at her side. Together, they would rewrite the future. The stars outside the window looked cold and distant, but inside the ship a new hope was born. The princess was alive. The fight for Valoria had just begun. The stolen ship cut through the blackness of space, moving faster than most would believe. Princess Serenia sat beside Commander Riven Cole, watching the stars blur into long lines through the ship's small windows. Her heart still raced from their narrow escape, but her mind was focused. She had to understand who was behind her kidnapping and how to stop them. Riven's hands never stopped moving, controlling the ship's many systems with quick, precise motions. He was quiet, but Serenia knew his silence was not weakness. He was always alert, listening for any sign of danger. "Where are we going now?" she asked. "To a place called Korath Station," Riven replied. "It's a hidden base far from the major empires. You can find friends there, people who still believe in freedom." Serenia nodded. "I need allies. My empire. But it's falling apart." Korath Station was a small trading hub built inside an asteroid. Its rough walls were covered with old metal plates and bright neon signs from the many merchants who came and went. Ships of all sizes docked here, from rusty freighters to fast fighters. Riven guided their stolen ship into a hidden dock. Station's guards barely glanced at them. Korath was a place where rules were flexible, and secrets were currency. Inside the crowded spaceport, Serenia felt the weight of her royal status. She was no longer the princess in shining robes. Here she was just another traveler, one trying to survive. "Stay close," Riven whispered as they stepped into the bustling crowd. They moved quickly through narrow streets filled with noisy vendors and strange smells. The people here were a mix of aliens and humans, traders and smugglers. Serenia felt a strange comfort among these rough but honest faces. Their destination was an old bar called the Rusted Anchor. It was a place where information flowed like cheap drinks, and anyone could find help for a price. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and voices. A band played strange music in the corner. But Serenia's attention was on the small group gathered near the back. Riven led her to a table where three figures waited: a tall alien with bright blue skin, a human woman with sharp eyes, and a burly man with mechanical arms. "These are my contacts," Riven said quietly. "They helped me before. They will help you." The tall alien named Vex spoke first. "The Cinder Consortium is hunting you, Princess. They don't want you alive because you know their secrets." Serenia's eyes narrowed. "What secrets?" Leaned closer. "The Sindar are more than criminals. They control many governments through fear and bribery. They want Valoria's resources, its power. Your kidnapping was their way to weaken your empire." "The human woman," Terra added, "and they have spies everywhere, even inside your court." Serenia's heart sank. Betrayal from her own people was worse than any enemy's attack. As the night wore on, the group planned their next steps. They decided to move quickly. Waiting was dangerous. Riven shared more about Earth, the human homeworld. It was a small blue planet with many challenges. But humans had one thing the galaxy often forgot: grit. "Humans don't give up," Riven said. "We fight with our minds and hearts, not just weapons." Serenia smiled. "Maybe that is what I need to learn." The next morning, Serenia and Riven left Korath Station quietly. Their plan was to reach Valoria through the outer worlds, gathering allies from the small planets that still believed in the old Empire's true values, but the Sindar Consortium was fast. On the edge of the Kalan Nebula, their hunters found the ship. Riven's voice grew tense. They're close. Outside, bright ships surrounded them, firing blasts of energy. The stolen ship rocked violently. Serenia gripped the console, trying to keep calm. She watched Riven's quick actions. He dodged and weaved through the attackers like a dancer. His years as a soldier showed in every move. "We can't fight them all," he said. "We have to outsmart them." Using a clever trick, Riven sent a false signal, a fake location for their ship. While they slipped away through a hidden asteroid field, the Sindar ships followed the false trail, giving Serenia and Riven precious time. After hours of tense silence, the ship finally landed on the surface of a small planet named Aronis. It was quiet and covered with dense forests. No one would expect to find a princess and a human warrior hiding here. As they stepped outside, Serenia breathed deeply. The fresh air felt strange after so long in space. But peace was brief. Suddenly, a group of shadowy figures appeared from the trees. They were not Sindar soldiers, but men and women dressed in dark cloaks, their faces hidden. One stepped forward, voice low and calm. "Princess Serenia, we have been watching. We want to help." Serenia was cautious. "Who are you?" "Are called the Guardians of the Light," the cloaked leader said. "We believe the true Valoria must return. We oppose the Shadow Ring, the traitors in your court." Serenia's eyes widened. "The Shadow Ring." "Yes," said the leader. "They have poisoned your father's mind and taken control. They want the Empire to fall so they can seize power." Riven stepped beside Serenia, his hand resting on the weapon at his side. "We need to work together. If the Shadow Ring controls the throne, the Sindar Consortium will win." The Guardians led them to a hidden camp deep in the forest. It was simple, but well guarded, filled with people ready to fight for their home. Serenia felt hope grow. She was not alone. For the first time, she spoke freely about her plans to expose the Shadow Ring, to unite the people, to bring justice. Back to Valoria, Riven listened carefully, offering advice from his battlefield experience. He reminded her that strength was not just in weapons, but in trust and courage. Days passed as Serenia and Riven trained with the Guardians. They practiced strategies, learned secret routes, and planned how to return to the Empire. Serenia's confidence grew. The princess, who was once lost in space, was becoming a leader again. One evening, under the stars, she asked Riven, "Why do you help me? Earth and Valoria are so different." Riven smiled. "Because you fight for what is right. Because sometimes the smallest hope can change the galaxy." Their rest was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Scouts rushed in, faces pale. "The Sindar Consortium found us," one said. "They are sending a fleet." Riven stood tall. "Then we have no choice. We move now, to Valoria, to the heart of the Empire." Serenia nodded, determination burning. In her eyes, the time for hiding was over. Together, they prepared to face the dangers ahead. As the stolen ship lifted from the forest, stars seemed to shine brighter. This was not just a flight from danger. It was the beginning of a fight, too. Save a King demanded a chance to prove that hope, courage, and friendship could change everything. The ship hummed quietly as it drifted closer to Valoria's outer orbit. Princess Serenia stood at the window, watching the blue and green planet grow larger before her eyes. The once great empire she loved was now a shadow of itself. The cities were dimmer, the skies clouded with tension. Beside her, Commander Riven Cole was studying star maps and signals. His brow was tight, serious. They had gathered information from their allies and old records enough to know that the danger wasn't just outside the Empire, but deep inside. "The Shadow Ring," Riven said quietly. "They've been inside your court for years. They want your throne, and they're willing to destroy everything to get it." Serenia's heart clenched. She had suspected betrayal, but never imagined it was so close to home. Before they landed, Serenia decided to visit a secret archive hidden beneath the ancient library of Valoria. It was a place forgotten by most, where old records and messages were stored in crystal vaults. Only a few trusted allies knew of it. Riven and Serenia made their way through shadowed corridors and secret doors. The air was cool, filled with the scent of old knowledge. Here the past whispered its secrets. Serenia searched for any message from her mother, the late queen, who had warned of danger years before. In a small crystal chamber, Serenia found a hidden data disk engraved with the royal seal. Her hands trembled as she inserted it into a reader. The message played. The queen's calm voice filled the room. "My dear Serenia, if you find this, it means danger is near. The Shadow Ring has infiltrated our court. They seek to control Valoria. Through fear and lies, trust only those who prove their loyalty to you and the people. Remember, true power comes from truth and courage." Serenia's eyes filled with tears. Her mother had seen the threat, but could not stop it. Riven looked at her, steady and strong. "We have proof now. Shadow Ring has spies everywhere. If we expose them, we can turn the tide. But how?" The court was heavily guarded, and the king was under the Shadow Ring's influence. Serenia's mind raced. "We cannot enter the palace as royalty. They will capture or kill us." Riven nodded. "Then we enter through the people." Her plan was clear. To build support from the ground up, Serenia and Riven disguised themselves as traders and travelers. They moved quietly through towns and villages, speaking with the citizens who still believed in the princess's return. In every place, Serenia saw hope flicker in the eyes of the people. Old friends recognized her, whispering encouragement.
Traders
Offered supplies. Farmers promised loyalty. One evening, in a small village near the border, Serenia met an old tutor named Master Thale. He had taught her when she was a child and remained loyal despite the dangers. "Princess,"
Allah said,
with a smile, "the people still wait for your return. But they need proof." Serenia nodded. "We'll give them that proof." They'll handed her a small, ancient Buka record of the royal family's true history, one hidden by the Shadow Ring. Meanwhile, the Shadow Ring grew suspicious. There, agents reported sightings of a disguised princess moving among the people. The leader of the Shadow Ring, Lord Kale, met with the king in the palace. "Your daughter is alive and moving among the rebels," Kale said. "We must stop her before she gathers more power." King Eldrin, weak and worn, sighed. "She is my daughter. I want peace, not war." Kale's eyes burned cold. "Peace requires control, Your Majesty. Without control, the Empire will fall." Back on the road, Serenia and Riven continued gathering allies. They visited retired soldiers, loyal council members, and secret rebel groups. Each meeting was risky one wrong word, and the Shadow Ring spies would strike. But with each success, their confidence grew. Riven taught Serena how to lead not with fear, but with trust. "A leader is only as strong as the people who follow her," he said. Serenia was learning fast. One night, under a sky full of stars, Serenia confided in Riven. "I fear my father has lost himself to the Shadow Ring. How can I save him and my empire?" Riven placed a hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to do it alone.
As we will face this together."
Serenia smiled, feeling the weight of loneliness lift. Then came the turning point, in a hidden cave beneath the mountains. Their group intercepted a Shadow Ring messenger carrying secret orders. Among the papers was a plan to assassinate several loyal nobles and blame the Sindar Consortium for the attacks. Serena knew this was the proof. They needed to expose the Shadow Ring's lies. They sent the documents to trusted allies inside the capital using secret couriers. The news spread quickly. People began to question the king's advisors and the Shadow Ring's influence. Riots broke out in some districts. Others demanded a royal investigation. The empire was waking up. Serenia and Riven prepared to return to the capital. But the Shadow Ring was not defeated yet. Lord Kale gathered his elite guards and planned a trap. "The princess will walk into our hands," he said, "and the rebellion will end." As Serenia's ship approached Valoria's spaceport, tension filled the air. Riven looked at her. Stay alert. The palace is a dangerous place now. Saranya took a deep breath. I am ready. The time to reclaim her throne was near, but the final battle for Valoria's soul was just beginning. The day of the great gathering, Unity Day, arrived. The sky above Valoria's capital was bright with banners and flags fluttering in the warm breeze. Citizens from all corners of the empire had come together in the grand royal courtyard to celebrate peace and strength. But beneath the joy and celebration, tension simmered. Inside the palace, King Eldrin sat on his throne, surrounded by his council. His eyes were heavy with doubt and worry. The Shadow Ring's grip on the court was strong, and the whispers of rebellion grew louder outside the walls. The king hoped for calm, but fate had other plans. Outside the palace gates, a strange ship descended slowly. It was unlike the elegant crafts of Valoria's royal fleet. It was small, battered, with scars from battles past. But as it landed, a hush fell over the crowd. From the ship's hatch, two figures stepped forward. The first was Princess Serenia Live, wearing simple clothes but carrying herself with royal grace and quiet power. Beside her stood Commander Riven Cole, the human warrior from Earth, his armor worn but his gaze steady and fearless. The crowd gasped. Then slowly, cheers began to rise. Inside the palace, the court was thrown into chaos. The Shadow Ring's leaders scrambled to respond. Imposters. One advisor shouted, "This is a trick. The princess is dead." But Serenia was ready. She held up a small device and played recorded messages, secret letters from her mother. Proof of the Shadow Ring's betrayal. And witnesses who had survived the kidnappings. Her old tutor, Master Thale, stepped forward. From the crowd, confirming her identity, an admiral who had served faithfully to the crown appeared. Bringing more evidence, King Eldrin's eyes filled with tears as he saw his daughter alive, but his face was torn by shame and fear. Serenia. "My daughter," he whispered, "you have returned." The Shadow Ring tried to seize the moment, ordering the palace guards to arrest her. Riven stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Try it," he said. "On Earth, we do not bow to tyrants." The guards looked at one another, and slowly lowered their weapons. The power of truth and courage was stronger than fear. Serenia walked through the courtyard, her head held high. The people cheered louder, their hope rekindled. She climbed the steps to the throne and faced her father and the court. "We have been betrayed," she said clearly. "The Shadow Ring has poisoned this empire, but the people are awake. We will heal Valoria together." Her words rang true in the hearts of the citizens. Over the next days, Serenia worked quickly. She ordered the arrest of the Shadow Ring's leaders. Trials were held openly, and justice was served. Many in the court who had hidden in fear stepped forward to support the princess. King Eldrin, awakened, began to regain his strength, standing beside his daughter as she promised a new future. Riven was invited to join the royal council as an advisor and protector. But Serenia knew the fight was not over. The Sindar Consortium still threatened the empire from outside, waiting for weakness to strike. Together, she and Riven began to prepare the people not just to defend Valoria, but to stand as a beacon of hope and unity in the galaxy. The princess and the human warrior had returned stronger than ever. The palace was alive with change. The halls that once echoed with whispers of fear now rang with hope and determination. Princess Serenia had returned not just as a symbol, but as a leader ready to build a new future, with Commander Riven Cole. By her side, she faced the greatest challenge of all, uniting an empire shaken by betrayal and preparing it to stand strong against threats from beyond. In the council chamber, Serenia sat at the head of the table, flanked by Riven and trusted advisors. The room was filled with voices discussing plans, strategies, and reforms. "The Shadow Ring is broken," Serenia said firmly. "But the Sindar Consortium grows stronger. We must prepare our defenses and build alliances." Riven nodded. "Earth is ready to help. We have ships, technology, and soldiers willing to fight alongside Valoria." Serenia smiled. "Then we will reach out not just to Earth, but to other independent worlds. Together, we can build a new alliance based on trust, and respect. Days passed quickly. Serenia traveled across Valoria, meeting with people from all walks of life: farmers, traders, soldiers, and scholars. She listened to their hopes and fears, promising a future where every voice mattered. Her leadership inspired loyalty. Old rivalries softened, and new friendships formed. Empire began to heal. Riven trained the royal guard in new tactics, blending human strategies with Valorian skills. He introduced innovations that surprised even the most seasoned generals, but danger was never far away. The Sindar Consortium, angry and desperate, launched attacks on Valerian outposts. Their ships darkened the skies, and their mercenaries struck. Swiftly, Serenia and Riven coordinated defenses with calm and courage. They rallied their people to stand firm in a fierce battle near the moon of Dracos. Valorian forces, led by Riven, outsmarted the Sindar fleet. Their victory sent a message across the stars: Valoria was back, stronger than ever. After the battle, Serenia addressed the Empire from the palace balcony. "We faced darkness and betrayal," she said, "but together we found light and strength. Valoria will no longer be ruled by fear or lies. We will build a future of peace and justice for all." The crowd cheered, their voices rising like a wave of hope. As peace returned, Serenia looked to the stars with Riven. "Thank you," she said softly, "for believing in me and for standing by my side." Riven smiled. "It's not just about belief. It's about fighting for what's right. Together, we changed the galaxy." Their bond was strong, a symbol of unity between worlds. The Empire of Valoria began a new era. The princess and the human warrior had rewritten history, not with weapons alone, but with courage, trust, and hope. The legend of Serenia and Riven spread across galaxies, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, light can be found. And so, under shining stars, a new dawn rose, a future where humanity and Valoria stood side by side, ready to face whatever came next.